7, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Well, I am Ignignoct, and this is
I am
We are Moonanites from the inner core of the moon.
You said it right.
I came here to give you these facts. But if you threaten to extend your violence, this earth of yours will be reduced to a burned-out cinder.
I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Our moon, in all its glory. It is thought to be 4.5 billion years old, but how it formed is still under question. There are several theories of its birth, all of which have yet to be proven. The first theory is fission, where the moon was once part of the Earth and then separated, forming the moon. The second is capture theory. The moon formed somewhere else and was captured by the gravitational field of the Earth. The third and most popular is impact theory, where a large body the size of Mars collided with the Earth, creating the moon in its wake. But there is another theory that goes unnoticed, the artificial theory, where the moon was created from someone, something. If it was indeed created, then who created it? And why? Could it be extraterrestrials? Alien beings from another planet? Could they have built it and put it there? We may never know, but there is evidence that may point us to those answers. Let's begin with the interesting relationship between the sizes and orbits of the moon, Earth, and the Sun. The authors Christopher Knight and Alan Butler explain the patterns in their book, Who Built the Moon? The moon's magnificent ability to cover the face of the sun perfectly during a total eclipse is because the moon is exactly 1/400th the size of the sun. Furthermore, the moon orbits at 1/400th the distance between the Earth and Sun. This allows the almost 100% cover of the two bodies in the sky. We know that the Earth is 3.66 times bigger than the moon. Is it coincidence that it takes 366 days for the Earth to orbit the Sun? Not likely. Another correlation is that the moon takes 27.322 days to orbit the Earth. They found that number to be very significant in the moon-Earth-Sun relationship. The Sun is 109.288 times bigger than the Earth. Divide that number by 4 and you get 27.322. The circumference of the moon is 10,928.8 kilometers. Divided by 400, and again, 27.322. This number appears again and again in terms of size, mass, and orbital characteristics. If the moon was indeed designed, the relationship between the Earth and Sun were taken into account. We know that without the moon, life on Earth would not exist or have existed. So why is it that we have such a perfect moon? Did aliens in fact put it there? Did they create it? Many of NASA's very own have come forth believing in the presence of extraterrestrials.
I don't know how many or where or how they're doing it, but they've been observing us and here for quite some time, and we see these craft all the time.
And you said you saw literally hundreds of unidentifiable flying objects.
Yes, they were flying quite high. How high we couldn't tell because we couldn't get anywhere near their altitude.
There is abundant evidence that we are being contacted, that civilizations have been visiting us for a very long time, that their appearance is bizarre.
Many former astronauts and employees of NASA have blown the whistle on alien involvement. Some even say there are in fact alien bases on the moon. And yet NASA and the government are keeping it quiet. Why is that?
During the era of the United States' initial space exploration and the moon landings, every launch was accompanied by alien craft. A moon base dubbed Luna was sighted and filmed by the Apollo astronauts. Domes, spires, tall round structures which looked like silos, huge T-shaped mining vehicles which left stitch-like tracks in the lunar surface, and extremely large as well as small alien craft appear in the photographs. It is, in fact, a joint United States, Russian, and alien base.
In mid-1965, I was loaned to the Lunar Orbiter Project at NASA on Langley Field. They had problems with a piece of electronic equipment that was bottlenecking their production of photographs. I was taken into the laboratory where the equipment was malfunctioning. A Airman second class was in the dark room at that time. I was also an Airman second class. About 30 minutes into the process, he said to me in a very distressed way, by the way, we've discovered a base on the backside of the moon. And then he proceeded to put photographs down in front of me, and clearly in these photographs were structures, spherical buildings, and towers.
I walked into the photo lab in the restricted area, and this was between missions. One of the gentlemen I had been friends with, and I still talk to occasionally, he pointed to one area of this mosaic. It was one panel of a mosaic, and with a smile on his face, he said, "Look over there." And I looked, and in one of the photo panels, I saw a round white dot. And at the time, it was very crisp, very sharp lines on it. And I said to him, what is that? Is that a dot on the emulsion? And then he's grinning, and he says, dots on the emulsion don't leave round shadows on the ground. And there was a round shadow at the right angle, at the correct angle, with the sun shining on the trees. I saw pine trees. I didn't see a coastline. I don't know where this was. And I said, "Is this a UFO?" And he's smiling at me, and he says, "I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that." What I knew he meant was, it was, but he couldn't tell me. So I said, "What are you going to do with this information?" And he said, "Well, we always have to airbrush them out."
What exactly is NASA trying to hide? Are they altering images of the moon in front of our eyes? Maybe. But there are many images of the moon that seem to have unusual runways and structures. Many of which that are hundreds of meters high. Are these the remnants of alien life? Is it possible that aliens have lived on the moon and still do? The question still remains. There are many UFO sightings each year, and growing every year. Most are photographs that may or may not have been doctored to appear authentic. Some UFOs have been filmed by aircraft and satellites, but are never truly explained. Could they be alien aircraft coming to and from the moon? These are still questions that have little answers. There is one thing for certain. The moon is a strange place. Do we really have an artificial moon? And was built and is inhabited by extraterrestrials? It's a good possibility, but a theory nonetheless.
Well, Buzz and I have disagreed on a lot of things, and it's certainly that one. Although Buzz does want to go back to Mars, and I support that. But
visit the moon of Mars. There's a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato-shaped object that goes around Mars once in 7 hours. When people find out about that, they're going to say, "Who put that there? Who put that there?"
I watched 3 men fly to the moon. And imagine their surprise when they found out that I was there 2 nights ahead of them. And so, to all the gallant and brave men, the astronauts who made this mission impossible possible, I respectfully dedicate the following. Fly me to the moon. Let me play up there with those stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me.